This spring, while President Trump led the global push for diplomacy with Russia, the war in Ukraine continued to escalate. On March 6th and 7th, the Kremlin launched missile strikes on civilian homes and energy infrastructure, its sixth assault on Odessa in just the last 2 weeks. On July 9th, Russia launched its largest aerial attack of the war, raining down hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles after President Trump allowed European allies to purchase U.S.-made Patriot missiles to send to Ukraine. Dozens were killed. Thousands have been displaced, and yet the war continues to rage. As President Trump continues to ask for peace in the region and pleading directly to Moscow itself, his answers have gone mute. This escalation requires a strategic, immediate, and forceful response. As a combat veteran who has flown sorties off the coast of Russia, who has seen firsthand Russian actions across the Middle East, across the world, we know that Russians respond best to peace when it comes in the form of strength. I know the value of exhausting every tool in U.S. arsenal, from diplomatic to economic to militarily. And I do not want to see American troops involved in another protracted war. And that is why, Mr. Chair, I believe we need to maximize our most powerful non-military tool, financial pressure. Despite past sanctions, foreign banks are still working with prohibited Russian oligarchs and energy companies and the Kremlin-linked firms to keep Russia's lifeline alive. That lifeline must now be severed. That is where our Peace Act comes into being. This bipartisan bill will grant the Department of the Treasury new authority to prohibit and restrict U.S. banks from accessing foreign financial institutions that knowingly provide a significant financial service to sanctioned Russian individuals, entities, including those like energy companies. It directly targets the financial pipeline that is fueling Putin's war, without costing U.S. taxpayers a single dime. This is not a blunt instrument. This bill is narrow, it's targeted, it's enforceable, and it will be highly effective. It does not impose broad-based sanctions that cause needless disruption to global markets while leaving Putin prime sources of hard currency and results in unaffected harm to the Kremlin. Instead, it allows the administration to have its hands untied and be able to execute effectively in stopping these funds. Mr. Chair, this is a smart, precise, and time-limited tool that gives us the financial edge we need to support peace without a shot being fired. And I would offer, Mr. Chair, we don't have the luxury of time to waste. Every delay empowers Putin. Every loophole prolongs this war. Every life that is lost in Ukraine today is a potential threat to Europe and the United States' national security tomorrow, and certainly our men and women in uniform who are on that front line. If we want peace, we must act with urgency and strength, reinforcing the message that access to the U.S. financial system should not be used by enablers of Moscow's aggression. Therefore, I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to pass this bill now, to send a clear message to Russia. The world is watching, and we will not stand by. I want to extend my personal gratitude to my co-lead on this, Representative Josh Gottheimer. Together, working across the aisle and across the chamber, we've had the ability to make sure that Russia is truly held accountable and that national security is always placed as the #1 priority for our country.